Hey Taurus, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. Take what works, sleep what doesn't, as with everything. And if I don't catch your wavelength or storyline on this reading, go ahead and check your other major placements. We're starting off with the Oracle deck, and then we're going to move on to more traditional tarot spread. And I'm in a new location. Not totally new. I'm just in my living room now because it is the room with the air conditioning. So I am in the Northwest, and we are in a heat dome situation. It's 102 outside. Okay, you're supposed to be real. Bring yourself in here, being real, and there's something that very exciting that kind of there's an ending here. So show the world the real you, full moon in Aquarius. So this is bringing in some authentic emotion, your feelings. Feel free to pour them out, communicate. Pour out your heart, communicate. This is the water bringer. So Aquarius, that's right on the intersection of emotion and communication. An air sign, Aquarius, water bringer. We're communicating about emotions here. So showing the world the real you, exposing yourself, but not like that, but some sort of vulnerability and genuine, some sort of authentic emotion and vulnerability that you are in a way exposing yourself, but not in the illegal way. And then we have new moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than take. This can also be thinking about what you are bringing to the situation. What energy are you bringing to the situation? What are you bringing? It could be energy, it could be planning, it could be whatever. But this is really thinking about what you've brought into a situation. A time to give rather than take. So you're bringing something. You're being very conscious and aware of the energy you're bringing to a situation, and I just want to say how you feel somehow. There's this new moon energy here. So it's new moon in Virgo. So it is a bit of the planning. And there's a sense of not knowing where something's going and not being able to see where something's going and being new at something. And it's not necessarily that you're giving. It is, though, thinking about and being very conscious and aware about what you give and what you bring. So not thinking so much about what you're getting out of a situation or from somebody, but thinking about the energy you bring. It reminds me of, what was the phrase? There was a phrase always growing up about, like, you can't, when you go somewhere, you only get what you give or something like that. Anyway, it's BS because some groups, it was meant to make me have a good attitude around people I really didn't like. And it turns out they didn't really deserve a good attitude. And I kept bringing my good attitude and thinking, why is this so hellish? I'm bringing my best here. But this is just making sure, so it reminds me of that. You can't control other people and the whole vibe of a whole group of people with your attitude. But you also don't make it better by bringing a shitty attitude into the situation, right? So there are some situations where you have to bring your best self. It's not going to improve the situation to bring a crap attitude. You got to bring your best self. Especially if it's something you have to do. If it's optional, just don't do it. If you're not liking it. But time to give rather than take, and you're giving, what are you giving? Something very authentic, your real self. People can tell if you're being fake, and on some level, the people you really want to be with aren't into that. So then we have a fiery climax approaches full moon in Aries. So something being revealed is very exciting. I don't know whether it's good or bad, but it's very exciting. And it's a conclusion or something. Conclusions are within reach, full moon eclipse. So something ending. I always see these as sort of like the bars coming down of and this chapter has concluded. We're done with something. We're over something. And it's probably going to end a little bit excitingly. And you might be bringing in an ending with your authentic self. But the conclusion is within reach. And within reach, with this card talks to me about you can do something. You have the capacity to bring something to a close, to finish something off. And it may be a relationship, it may be a project, but you have the capacity for a completion here of a cycle. It's something you do. And I think it's, there's also a time to give rather than take. And with this deck, a time to me means now-ish is the time to do that. So it's like now you need to finish something up or conclude something right now. It's going to be pretty exciting. We have this full moon in Aquarius and full moon in Aries. So there's something to be seen, to be revealed. Yeah, and it's time to do that. And it closes off a chapter for you. All right, Taurus. I don't know how I sang that, but past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. Okay. Well, yeah, there's your completion there. I see that. Here we have in your, what do we have? Oh, man. We don't have any major arcana here. So to me, that means like no grand sweeping storyline shifts. We have one person and they're non-communicative. All right, so we have 2 of materials here. We have a lot of materials. We have 4 materials, which means this has to do with work or project or something very tangible. This isn't necessarily an emotional journey. This isn't necessarily inspiration or spiritual journey. We're talking about like some kind of project, some kind of work project here. So 2 materials, you got a lot on your plate. This is your past, you've had a lot on your plate. And it has been a struggle to juggle all of this stuff. There's been a lot of projects, maybe a lot of work projects, a lot going on in your life, and you have strained to keep it all moving, keep it all going, keep breathing life into each piece. They all needed your attention almost at the same time, and you've been juggling quite a bit, maybe negotiating something, but juggling quite a bit on your plate. Look at the strain here, the stress of trying to stay balanced while also handling all of the responsibilities and duties that you have. So, current situation, 7 of materials. You have put in a lot of work and you're looking to harvest. You're wanting to harvest that work, and I'm seeing this with this conclusions are within reach. You're waiting for the time. This has been a long time coming. You've put a lot of work into this. There's a lot, there might be a little bit more to go here. You might be, wanting to complete this bouquet, wanting to complete this completion. You're looking for completion. You're going to find it, but right now you're in a waiting period or a pause period. A lot of work's been put into something and we're waiting for it to come to fruition. And this particular deck shows it that you're still working on it. You've put a lot of work into something. It's still not done. It's still not completed. You're still putting more work into it. And there might be a sense of being impatient here, and being frustrated with maybe a pause in the progress. Right? We've got this train here, work. You've done a bunch of stuff here. You've already created something here. You've got this bouquet you're creating, and instead of like continuing on, we're sort of paused and focused on something right now. But there's still more to do. There's still more to completing this project. And a lot of work has already been put into it. Your fears, your hopes, your fears, what you're thinking about, maybe what's on your mind a lot is 5 of voices, a bunch of really difficult choices, right? Difficult decisions. You might be worried about difficult decisions, worried about choices that need to be made. I mean, I love this card because it just really acknowledges the situations that we find that life inconsistently presents us with, as far as like no-win situations, difficult sacrifices needing to be made, tough exchanges, just some tight spots where it's hard to figure out which way to go. we're going to end up hurting someone. Is it going to be ourselves? Probably you're going to have to make some sacrifices here. Is it going to be somebody else? You would rather not proceed. There's something that you'd rather not do, except for there is like a peaceful way out of this, but it is going to require sacrifices, and it's not very obvious, and you have to say no to something. So you're thinking a lot about, like, how do you say no to this thing? And there is a sense of needing to find some inner peace in order to find the path that's right for you. It can be really difficult to see your path here, but this is something, the path forward, right? This is interesting because this is working, and then it's like, oh, but you're worried about a difficult situation. It's on your mind. You're concerned about it. You want peace. You want a peaceful situation. You want everything to work out. You want a win-win situation, but it does increasingly looks like there's not a possibility for that. So it's going to be like 6 of one, half dozen of another is the situation. So like all things being equal, you're just gonna equally crappy. You're just gonna have to go within and go with the route that seems best to you. You're not gonna like it, but you don't like any route here. So it's like you don't like any route, but you have to choose something. This is what you're afraid of. This is internal. This isn't necessarily external. This isn't externally we've got all this work, but internally you've got a little bit of a battle going on here, and you've got to figure out, and you're really thinking about some sort of situation, some sort of tight spot that you've been put into. Boy, would it be nice if you could just reach a peaceful, I see this olive branch. There's very clearly an olive branch here, but that just seems to be in your imagination, something that you wish was there, but that it's not. So on your mind is kind of a crossroads, difficult situation. There's no easy way out. You're going to have to make some tough choices. And this is what's on your mind. This is what you're thinking a lot about. The situation here is Knight of Emotions. So Knights are about communication. So when we see this in the reverse, we can either say someone's really not communicating about their real feelings. I suspect it might be you, because we're getting the Show the World the Real You card here, right? You might not be communicating, either that or there's some immature communication going on here. That isn't really worthy of a knight. That isn't really worthy of, the higher good or the greater good that the knight is supposed to be serving here. This can be some very self-serving communication here. So it's either really crappy emotional communication where the emotions are running high, and communicating about them isn't being done with a lot of maturity, a lot of forethought. The growth that we encounter naturally as we go through life is not being displayed with this communication. So either someone stopped communicating something completely and is not communicating their emotions, or someone is communicating how they feel, but they're doing it in a really, really crappy way. And this with these two together, I feel like how the communication is unfolding here makes it really difficult to pick a mature option. Because when someone else is communicating crappy, and it might be you that's doing the BS communication here, but when someone's communicating really crappily, it can really be hard to separate out what is the real issue at hand and what is this person's problem that I now have to deal with. They've got some psychological issue. They've got some lack of growth and lack of maturity here that's coming out. And then trying to ignore, do you ignore that? Or do you address that? Or do you just go for the core issue and like, okay, whatever you're communicating, I'll bring my own olive branch, thank you. I'll bring my own maturity to this situation, and I will disregard how you're talking about it and just try to get to the core of the matter. So this is like causing a problem, either a total lack of communication about what someone really thinks and really feels, a lack of courage, a lack of bravery to communicate that, or real crappy communication from someone whose emotions are a little bit out of control and doing the communication for them. Immature communication. And then we have in your environment 4 of emotions. So there's something in your environment. This could be something someone else is going through, or this could be you as well. Just being done with something, right? She's just done. Like, yeah, I tried that cup, and then again, you brought me the same bullshit, and I tried it, and it was just as gross as the first time you offered this communication to me, right? It's 4 of emotions. It's about feelings. It's about feeling tired of something, but the solution is really you. You're the solution to the problem. Someone's offering you something, it's not satisfying, but you have the capacity to completely satisfy yourself. I mean, that's almost what I'm seeing with this, is like this reverse Knight of emotions. Okay, someone's being really crappy about their communication. That doesn't mean you have to accept the communication, but you can solve the problem without them, without their communication, without dealing with their BS. Just what is the problem at its core, and how does it get solved? And just, okay, whatever, you're just going to communicate in whatever way you think works for you. It's not working for anybody else here, but you're going to communicate. And you know, this could be you doing some crappy, immature communication. But the solution to this problem is internal, is what I want to say, or you're sitting right in it. It's around you. There's an offer and there's a refusal. So you may be offering an olive branch, and this immature person is not receiving it. You may be trying to do your best and they're not receiving it, because the problem is them, right? And this being in your environment, that's what I'm starting to understand. This card here is that the solution to the problem is actually within the other person. They're not actually mad at any offer, or it's got to be an internal process. So there's something in your environment that's either triggering you to be like, none of this is satisfying to me, and doing some inner work, or it could be someone in your environment, you keep offering something to them, they don't like it, but that's because the problem is their energy, is their, you know, and just like the solution to the problem could be your energy, but we can't control other people, right? We can't tell them. The problem, there's really no problem here. The problem is sort of how you're approaching it. That's the only problem. We can't really, because, right, someone that's having an emotional immaturity can't hear that, and you really can't change their emotional maturity level or their communication maturity. So if this is you, just making sure that you know, yeah, your peace, it's got to be inner peace. Someone else can't bring that to you. That's not to be found externally. This is your energy in your field that you're in charge of, and so is this other person that I feel like is in between, is in the situation. This Knight, this reverse Knight of emotions. But your to-do list, I love this, is 10 of materials. This is completing something, completing a project, right? It's the same, conclusions are within reach. Completion, just go ahead and complete your project here. Whether someone's throwing a hissy fit or not, whether someone likes it or not, just go ahead and complete it. 10 of materials, it could be, I mean, typically 10 of materials is going to be a family, family money, family issues, family money. But I feel like because this is your to-do list, it's completing a real tangible project. We already saw that with conclusions are within reach. So I feel like just go ahead and complete the project with or without this person. This conflict, it might all be in your head, honestly, because we do have the 5 voices in your head. But then we do have this poor communication, or this immature communicator here. And it's a court card, so it's likely to be an actual person. So I see you trying to focus on work, trying to get some work done here. So the materials just kind of jog over here. They actually like make a move like a knight on a chessboard. So it's a unique move, and there's this path through this of just focusing on your work. I mean, I just feel like this is the answer here. Just focusing on the work, focus on getting this project done, focus on getting something done. Yeah, there's like some sort of conflict around it. There's somebody that's got some bad energy, or doesn't like what you're offering, or doesn't like the situation, and you're thinking a lot about it. But there's just this like just dodging this by focusing on work, which isn't always the right answer. But this is what I'm seeing here, is this path through a bunch of emotional A bunch of emotional and communication difficulties, right? We have voices, we have emotions, and we have a Knight of Emotions, which is basically communication about emotions, but it's in reverse. So there's some sort of communication issue, but it's almost like just stay focused on the project and finishing it. And there's like a sense of ignoring the bait. Don't take the bait. Don't take the... Not ignoring it. I mean, you're thinking a lot about it, but just moving around it. Like a knight does on a chessboard. A knight can move around a lot of objects, you know? Because they just move real different. So, so that, some sort of dodge here. Dodging a communication, leaving them on red, I don't know. But just staying focused on the work and completing your project. Possible outcome here, 3 of materials, teamwork. So there's more work here, and then it's teaming up with other people. It's collaboration is a possible outcome. There could be more to collaborate with. Not necessarily, maybe this Knight of Emotions, you know, pulls itself up right here, and then you end up collaborating with this person, or it's just, this is not the person to be collaborating with, and you find other team members and other teammates to collaborate with. So 3 of materials, collaboration on a project. Maybe you finish your part of the project and you bring it to the group, and then the group and then the group works together, right? Each individual here is bringing their own path, their own thread. It's almost like you've been doing your path, you're focused on your thing, and then here everyone brings them together and creates this beautiful braid out of this work that we've all done individually. So it's almost like complete your part of the project and then bring it to the team, and then the team can continue higher and better and keep going. But there's a sense of focusing on your work and yourself and what you want to do, and kind of working around somebody who's just having their own energy issues and their own growth issues, and there's not a lot you can do about that. So just focus on your work. All right, that seems like an interesting message. Just focus on your work. All right, Taurus, thanks for your likes and subscribes. I appreciate it. See you guys in a bit.